Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Scorebook Stories. Hopefully, you had a wonderful week of enjoying great baseball all week long. We had a wonderful week of baseball. We saw some unbelievable future stars, young pitchers that are going to dominate the league for a very long time. Plus, we saw a complete game shutout. We saw some great pitching in a lot of different areas of the game. We also have the All-Star Game Finalists. We are going to be voting on starters starting on June 30th, tomorrow, as of recording, or today, depending on when you're listening to this, or it's already open. But I want to start things off by talking about Bobby Witt Jr. joining the WBC roster. He's going to be on Team USA. He announced it on Thursday. He's going to be participating. He's joining Aaron Judge and Paul Skeens for an American team looking to rebound after finishing runner-up to Japan in 2023. So far this season, Bobby Witt has played 83 games, 360 plate appearances, 11 home runs. He's hitting .285 with a .339 OBP and a .491 slugging. Pretty solid. He's DH 3 games. He's played shortstop for 81 of those games. He's a great ball player. His hitting numbers aren't quite where they were last year, but he is still probably the best defensive shortstop in the majors, in my opinion. I love Bobby Witt Jr. He's fast. He's a great base runner, and he has the ability to hit the ball very, very well. He's just kind of struggling through the first half here, but I expect him to turn it around very, very soon. Bobby Witt Jr. is also a finalist for the American League All-Stars. The All-Stars for the American League right now, the finalists are Cal Raleigh and Alejandro Kirk at catcher, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Paul Goldschmidt at first base, Gleyber Torres, Jackson Holliday at second, Jose Ramirez and Alex Bregman at third. Shortstop is Bobby Witt Jr. and Jacob Wilson. Outfield is Aaron Judge, who got the most votes, so he is automatically a starter, followed by Riley Green, Javier Baez, Mike Trout, and Stephen Kwan. Ryan O'Hearn and Ben Rice are going to be the DHs for the AL All-Stars. And when it comes to the NL All-Stars, catcher, we have Will Smith and Carson Kelly. We have at first base Freddie Freeman and Pete Alonso. Second base is Ketel Marte and Tommy Edman. Third base is Manny Machado and Max Muncy. Francisco Lindor and Mookie Betts went to shortstop, and the outfield is Pete Crow, Armstrong, Teoscar Hernandez, Ronald Acuna Jr., Kyle Tucker, Andy Pages, and Juan Soto. I'm not really a fan of that NL team. It seems to me like it's just the Los Angeles Dodgers with a couple other people thrown in. Like that's boring. I don't like that. Shohei Ohtani got the most votes for DH, and he will be the starting DH for the NL All-Stars. James Wood isn't here for some unknown reason. James Wood for the Nationals is a lot better than Teoscar Hernandez. Juan Soto's having a good month of June, but James Wood has better numbers thus far in the season across the board. So, yes, it's Juan Soto. He's great, but James Wood is playing better. And if this is the All-Stars, this is the best in the league right now. James Wood should be on this team, not Juan Soto or Teoscar Hernandez. Sorry if you voted for Juan Soto and Teoscar Hernandez. James Wood is better than them right now, which is kind of what the All-Stars is about. I understand this is fan voting, and people are probably voting for who they're a fan of, which if that's what this is going to be, then that's fine. But I feel like the All-Stars is the best players in the league that so far this season. That's what it should be. And other players that aren't on this team that 100% should be is Elly De La Cruz. Why is he not on the roster? He is a better shortstop than Mookie Betts. If we want to put Mookie Betts on the NL All-Stars because he's just an adaptable player that is incredible and can play anywhere on the field at any given time, I think he's deserving of an All-Star. Don't get me wrong. I think Mookie Betts is great, but he's not a shortstop pick for me. Ellie De La Cruz got a vote over Mookie Betts at shortstop, in my opinion. I don't think there's really much to dispute, especially if you look at the statistics. And Jonathan Aranda not being on the AL team at first base. I understand Paul Goldschmidt was off to a super hot start, but he has really kind of tapered off and leveled out and has not been playing all that great. Jonathan Aranda is playing out of his mind. He is probably the best first baseman in the American League right now. Like, he's playing really, really well. To me, that's deserving of an all-star. I love Goldschmidt. Love Paul Goldschmidt. Huge Yankee fan. I'm happy he's on the Yankees. But Jonathan Aranda's playing better. I'm sorry. If you disagree, that's fine. It's perfectly fine to disagree. But I don't like the All-Star game being a popularity contest. That's not what it is. If that's what the MLB is seeing and that's just kind of what's going to happen, then have it be the fan voted popularity contest team and have the popular game every single year in the middle of the season. Don't have an all-star game because clearly it's not statistics related anymore. I also don't really like the all-star game because it doesn't mean anything. Like, let's make the all-star game, not just in baseball, but like across sports in general. Let's make these all-star games actually mean something. The Pro Bowl is right before the Super Bowls, so if the AFC wins the Pro Bowl, then the AFC team in the Super Bowl, they have home field advantage. Like, let's do something like that. Let's make the all-star game mean something. The National League wins, the National League representative in the World Series will have home field advantage for the World Series. Like, let's bring that around, okay? That's what needs to be happening. I really just, if this is just going to be a popularity contest, I'm probably just not going to watch it. 7MM Sports is your hub for all things Seven Mountains Media Sports. You can watch the latest of Sports Talk with Steve Jones episodes. You can find what station you can listen to your favorite Penn State sports team on, and you can even get live social media updates all the time. All of these things are available along with every single show produced by Seven Mountains Sports over at 7mmsports.com. Moving into more baseball things that have happened this week. Unbelievable young pitchers took the mound and dominated. Skeens, we all know Skeens is unbelievable. He's a phenom. He is great. And Skeens is going to do what Skeens does. However, he fell short against the Brewers going up against Mizorowski. Mizorowski scattered a pair of singles and struck out 8 over 5 scoreless innings in a 4-2 win over the Pirates. He threw the hardest pitch ever recorded from a Brewers pitcher at 102.4 miles an hour. Miz is unbelievable. He looks great, and I think he's going to be the face of that Brewers pitching staff for quite a while. The Brewers ended up batting around against Skeens in a 37-pitch second inning, taking a 4-0 lead, which would hold on for the rest of the game. That was the most runs the Pirates phenom, Paul Skeens, has ever allowed in any inning over his 40 starts in the major leagues. In his previous 39 starts, he'd allowed 2 earned runs in all second innings combined, and only twice had he allowed 4+ runs in an entire outing before. Skeens gave up 4 runs total, only 3 of them earned, only over his previous 5 starts before this game. 5 starts, he allowed 4 runs. He threw 33 1/3 innings through that stretch. Skeens is dominant. He will be dominant. It was only a matter of time before he had a stinker of an outing, and this happened to be it. And outside of that inning, he pitched phenomenally. Like, the Brewers couldn't touch him. Like, he pitched a great game. He just had 1 bad inning. This game was a game to watch. If you didn't see it, I encourage you to go watch the highlights because Skeens and Mizorowski were on fire. They were playing so great. This is a ball game that I love to watch. These two going at it, young stars. They are going to be in the league a long time. They're going to pitch against each other a bunch. Now, I can't wait for one of these two to go up against Tark Skubal. He's the big dog right now, and I am really looking forward to when one of these two get on the mound with Tarek Skubal. It's going to be fun. I can't wait for it. It's going to be a good time. Another pitcher that was dominant in his major league debut was Chase Burns. He made his MLB debut against the Yankees over 5 innings. Burns allowed 3 runs on 6 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts, and throwing 81 pitches. He left trailing 3-0 after the Reds battled back, and they took a 5-4 walk-off win in the 11th inning. So Burns does not weigh into the decision there. But Burns, in his first starting pitcher role, it's history making because in at least the expansion era, so since 1961, he is the first pitcher to strike out 5 batters, the first 5 batters he faced in an MLB debut. He struck out the side against the Yankees in the first inning, setting down Trent Grisham, Ben Rice, and Aaron Judge on 14 pitches. And in the second inning, Burns picked up where he left off, striking out Cody Bellinger, Paul Goldschmidt. Jazz Chisholm picks up a single into right field, and then Burns strikes out Anthony Volpe for 6 strikeouts through his first 7 batters faced. That's dominance. Like, Chase Burns looks good. This is a great draft pick by the Reds. Burns is going to be a phenomenal pitcher for a very long time. I can just feel it. He looks great on the mound. He looks confident. He didn't let the aura of the Yankees get to him. They weren't in his head. He was pitching strong, and he looks good. I think the future of pitching with all these young guys coming in is so bright, and it's going to be so much fun to watch. Skeens, Mizorowski, Chase Burns, Bubba Chandler, when he gets called up, he's going to be lights out. Mick Abel is playing really well the few starts he's had for the Phillies. Andrew Painter, he's another guy for the Phillies that could be coming up very, very soon. Mason Miller, he's a pretty young guy over with the A's, reliever, but still throwing 103 miles an hour. I love these young pitchers. I cannot wait. And even Cade Anderson for LSU, he's going to get drafted very soon. He's going to be a dominant pitcher at the MLB level. I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see the future of the MLB with all of these unbelievable flame-throwing pitchers that we are going to be bringing in to the MLB. Stay up to date on everything going on in the sports world by heading over to 7 Mountain Sports on Facebook, 7 Mountain Sports on X, on Instagram. We are on all of your favorite platforms, and you do not want to miss out on a single thing going on here at 7 Mountain Sports. Now let's dive into some of the standings and statistics from around the MLB. In the American League, the Yankees are still on top of the East. They are 47-35. The Rays are right there, half a game behind at 47-36. The Blue Jays are in third, 44-38. Red Sox 41-43. The Orioles are 35-47. The Tigers are on top of the Central, 52-32. The Guardians are 40-41. The Twins are 40-43. The Royals are 39-44. The White Sox 27-56. Astros lead the West 49-34. Mariners 42-40. Angels 41-41, Rangers 41-42. The A's are 34-51. The National League is where it's getting really interesting, in my opinion. The Phillies are at the top by half a game in the East at 48-35. The Mets are 48-36. This one's getting real tight, and I love it. Love it so much. The Braves are 38-44. The Marlins are 36-45. The Nationals 34-49. The Cubs are leading the Central 49-34. Brewers right behind them at 47-36. Cardinals 46-38. Reds are 43-40. The Pirates are 34-50. The Dodgers are on top of the West at 52-32. Padres at 45-37. Giants 45-38. Diamondbacks 41-41. And the Rockies are 18-65. They are playing so bad. Oh my gosh. I don't know why the Rockies cannot win any ball games ever. But right now the Mets are they're really having a bad time. Like they're half a game out right now of the East, but they have lost 12 of their last 15, and as of recording, they have a game coming up against the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are in a position to sweep the Mets. That's a problem. That is not good. The Phillies were swept by the Pirates earlier this season. The Mets are likely to be the next victim of probably underestimating the Pittsburgh Pirates. I do not know off the top of my head who is starting in that game tonight, but either way, it'll be over, and we will know if the Mets have been swept by the time you are listening to this. Anyway, so the Mets reportedly had a players-only meeting about the way that they've been playing, which sometimes we've seen players only meetings turn a team around and they get hot pretty quickly. So is that the case? I'm not sure. I think right now there is a high potential that the Mets are probably going to be swept by the Pirates. But again, the Mets have great ball players. They have strong pitching, and it's hard to say if the Mets are going to be able to get it done, but if they can't figure out a way to stop this tailspin that they're currently in, they could put themselves in a pretty rough position in a very tight race for the NL East. And the Rays are really leaning on Brandon Lau, who's hitting at 407 with 4 home runs and a 1.089 OPS over his last 15-game hitting streak, which is the best in the MLB right now. Brandon Lau he's playing unbelievably, and he's a big reason as to why the Rays have climbed the AL East, and they are right there, half a game behind the Yankees. The Rays very likely could be in first place by the time you're listening to this episode. It's not a reach for the Rays to be the number one spot very, very soon, or even heading into the All-Star break. They could be first if Brandon Lau, Jonathan Aranda, they keep playing the way they're playing. The Rays are going to be at the top of the AL East. And that is all because the Yankees had an absolutely horrible month of June. They did not play well at all through June. I was listening to Talking Yanks, John Boy Media Production, and they brought it up. They're like, June just seems to be a bad month for the Yankees, has always been. And I never really noticed it. And then I started looking into the numbers and their record through June. June really is just not a good month for the Yankees. They usually do turn it back up in July, and they're usually pretty solid for a while after the All-Star break, with a couple of slumps here and there for like a week or two. But overall, like, the month of June is just not the month for the Yankees. If they don't get a big enough lead before June in the division, they're going to fall off, and they could put themselves into a big, big hole. But they were able to get a pretty solid lead. So June is almost over. So hopefully they can turn some things around and start playing some better baseball to regrow a pretty solid lead in the AL East. But right now the Tigers, looks like nobody's going to touch the Tigers. The Astros are just doing Astros stuff. Not sure how they're winning games, but they are, and they're playing really well. Dodgers, they seem to be powering through and taking pretty firm control of the NL West right now. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Padres, Giants put together a couple good weeks and grind through and end up climbing themselves back into a spot to contend. Looking at some of these statistical leaders, Aaron Judge is leading in batting average with a 354, followed by Jacob Wilson with a 340, Jonathan Aranda, 330, Jeremy Pena, 322. Alejandro Kirk at 315. Jeremy Pena, that's another snub for the All-Star game that I might throw in there. He's hitting really, really well, playing really well. And the Astros obviously are winning, like we just talked about. So he's another snub, I think, for the All-Star game. I think he would have been a good fit on the AL team. It's at shortstop. When it comes to hits, Aaron Judge leading the way at 108, followed by Jacob Wilson at 106. Jeremy Pena at 102. Trey Turner's at 100. Bo Bichette's at 96. Home runs, Cal Raleigh, 32. Shohei Ohtani at 29. Aaron Judge, 28. Eugenio Suarez at 25, along with Kyle Schwarber. Pitching-wise, Hunter Brown is leading the way in ERA with a 1.74. Max Fried right behind him with a 1.92. Garrett Crochet with a 2.06. Jacob deGrom with a 2.08. Paul Skeens in fifth with a 2.12. Garrett Crochet is leading the way in strikeouts with 135. Mackenzie Gore has 129. Zach Wheeler has 126. Tarek Skubal has 125. Logan Webb has 120. In saves, we have Robert Suarez at 23, Carlos Estevez at 22, Josh Hader at 22, and a number of closers tied for saves at 18. Emilio Pagan, Tanner Scott, Kyle Finnegan, Trevor McGill, Andres Munoz, and Emmanuel Clase, all at 18 saves on the season. Now we are going to dive into the storied pitcher and player of the week. Award time. So, Sonny Gray is going to be getting the storied pitcher of the week. He started one game. I like to pick guys that started two games, gives them a couple more innings to work with. They usually are able to put up a little bit better numbers, and it's just more games to pick from. But he started one game, 0.00 ERA, 9 innings pitched, 28 total batters faced, 1 hit, 0 runs, 0 walks, and 11 Ks. Complete game shutout, and he did it in less than 90 pitches. He threw 89 pitches. Unbelievable. Sonny Gray dominated this outing, which is exactly why he deserves to be the storied pitcher of the week. Unbelievable outing. Great job by Sonny Gray. Absolutely shut everything down out there on the mound. 11 Ks is impressive. Pitchers try to get 1 K per inning. That's usually the goal for most pitchers, from my understanding of baseball and how you approach things. You're not going to strike every batter out. It's just not going to happen. But 11 Ks is very, very impressive. The storied player of the week, is George Springer. I picked George Springer for a very specific reason, but we're going to get into that. He played 5 games, 18 at-bats, 10 hits, 9 singles, 1 home run. He had a 556 batting average, great average, hitting the ball all over the place. 5 runs, 8 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. Those numbers aren't jumping off the page, but one number specifically jumped off of Fangraphs to me when I was looking for my storied player of the week. This past week, George Springer had 0 strikeouts. 0. Did not strike out at all. He put the ball in play and made the defense get him out. When he didn't get on base, the defense had to make a play. That is incredible. 0 strikeouts. If you want to win ball games, you can't strike out. Make the defense make a play. If you put the ball in play and it's a weak ground ball to the third baseman could field the ball cleanly and throw it over the first baseman's head. Now you're on base. Do I care if you get on base, a single, a double, a triple, home run? I would like those, but if you're on base because of a walk, or if you're on base because of an error, you're on base, and that is a potential run that could be brought in and score some runs and lead us to winning ball games. Base runners are important. He got on base. That's what's most important here. And it is great that he was able to strike out 0 times. Unbelievable, which is why I am giving the story player of the week to George Springer. Hands down. No strikeouts. That's a perfect week for me. In my opinion, that's perfect. Some games coming up this week that you should be watching. Giants, Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks are in a division right now where they probably are going to have to aim for a wild card spot if they want to get into the playoffs, but they will need to move up in the standings and jump a team in front of them to be a little bit more comfortable. The Giants are that team. They're next in line. Giants are right in front of the Diamondbacks. If the Diamondbacks can pick up a series win here, that's going to be a big momentum boost for them, and they should be able to carry that through to the All-Star game and hopefully be in third place by the All-Star game. Phillies, Padres. Padres are another team that is fighting really hard to get to the top of their division. The Phillies are playing really hard to try to stay at the top of their division. Bryce Harper is still out as of recording, but ESPN has him expected to return June 30th. Will he? I don't know. I saw June 27th, 22nd. It just keeps getting pushed back. So I'm not sure if he's going to be back on June 30th, but ESPN has him expected to return Monday. So these two teams are really fighting hard to stay at the top and get to the top of their division. So a series win here would be huge for either team. And the final game or the final series that you should be watching is the Subway Series Part 2. Yankees, Mets kicks off Friday. Yankees have had a bad month, and the Mets are struggling right now. Both New York teams are fighting for top spots in the division. They want to be number one. They want to be on top of the AL and NL East. This is going to be a huge rivalry and a huge series for both of them in their goal to win a division. End of story. It's going to be intense. Both teams have not been playing great, and they need to turn things around. So this is going to be a big series in getting themselves on the right track to move forward and win their division heading into playoffs. That is all I have for you here on Scorebook Stories. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure you are subscribed to the channel to never miss an episode on YouTube, or follow along or subscribe or whatever button you got to push to never miss an episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast from. Make sure you are subscribed and following along with 7 Mountain Sports here on YouTube and on Facebook, X, and Instagram as well. Thank you for listening to Scorebook Stories. Go watch some baseball.